Hello, welcome to Dad Talks. This is a little micro blog, I guess you could call it, that I'm doing for my kids. If other people out there get any kind of benefit from this, that's great. That's awesome. Just understand that this is for my kids, and that's why I'm doing this. So, Madison Mason, hopefully you're watching this. And this is your dad, and I wanted to just talk about leadership today. So, leadership is this thing that in our society is kind of spun up into this thing where it's something that we strive for and we want and we desire, and it's something that's so honored, right? That being said, though, I want you to know that leadership is not necessarily such a great thing, and more importantly, it's not necessarily cut out for everybody. Sometimes you can find yourself in a position where by not having leadership, your life is actually more fulfilling and can be more even lucrative and rewarding, just depending on how you're wired as a person. So you need to really take some careful assessment and consideration into who you are before you decide to take or not take a leadership role. Now, there are some exceptions to this. There are some positions of leadership that you're just simply thrust into, and you have no option if you're going to carry yourself in the caliber which I expect you to carry yourself. You have no option but to accept that leadership, such as if you have a family, you are a leader in that family. You simply must deliver that mission. You don't have an option. There is no opt out. That's what you got to do. So, for this conversation, though, we'll talk about voluntary leadership. So, there's a few things about leadership that I want you both to know. First and foremost, glory has to go to your team. Hard stop. That's got to be how you are as a leader. There's a lot of people that will try to take a position of leadership to tickle their own ego, to try to drive more of their own worth, to try to, again, try to lord over people. You hear all these horror stories about, bad bosses, bad leaders, etc. The vast majority of people that leave an organization, a job, what have you, they usually leave it because of bad leadership. They don't necessarily leave it because of the job. I've known lots of people that have left organizations simply because of bad leadership, even though they were paid well and had good benefits and everything else. It means a lot to people. So that being said, if you find yourself in a position of leadership or potentially taking on a position of leadership, you need to ask yourself, are you willing to give the glory to the team? If it's time for the team to win something and win something big, are you willing to take that team and push them into the collective spotlight and then step back and clap? Are you willing to do that? If you're not, if you want to be in that spotlight and have the praise and have the clapping come your direction, you might not be cut out for leadership. Okay? Not that leadership is martyrdom, it's not, but you just have to understand that, in my opinion, leaders that properly carry themselves, that's what they do. A lot of times we look at org charts and they're a pyramid, right? And everyone thinks of the person at the top and power, authority, and all that stuff. And to a certain extent, that is true. But what that really should look like is it should look like this. It should be the person who is at the point of the pyramid is pushing up and supporting everybody above him. So, again, in my opinion, leadership is about support. It's about driving the very best out of your collective team. And it's about being accountable for other people, and that's good or bad, which brings me to another piece of this double-edged sword. If you're not comfortable being accountable for other people, especially if they screw up or they do something wrong, you're not cut out for leadership. Because that is one thing about leadership, is once you no longer control simply your destiny, and your destiny is actually somewhat controlled by a team, you have to be comfortable with that. You have to have the trust to do that in your team. And if you find yourself in a position where you can't do that personality-wise or otherwise, or maybe you just have the wrong team, but if you find yourself in a position where you can't do that, and it makes you really nervous to be held accountable for somebody else's work, again, you might not be cut out for leadership. Which is okay, to be clear. That's the thing about our society is it's like everybody's got to be the coach, everybody's got to be the CEO, everybody's got to be the tip of the spear, and that's just not reality. There are a lot of people that just simply are not cut out for that life, and there's a lot of people that are far more effective being, a quote unquote frontline employee or being a manager or being whatever. And that's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. You're not a failure because you're not a CEO. That's crazy talk. So just make sure that you're making your life your best life, and don't worry about being the CEO. Maybe you're just fine being a mid-level accountant. There's nothing wrong with that. And you're not coming up short in any way, shape, or form. As long as you're truly happy and you're feeling fulfilled, it doesn't matter, right? So don't take leadership just because you think you should, or because it's the cool thing to do, or because, unless you're the boss, you're not the man. That's all garbage. Don't fall into that trap. If you're committed to other people and you get real satisfaction out of seeing other people be successful, about enabling other people's success, improving other people's quality of life, if those things drive you, then you might be cut out for leadership. And so I would definitely encourage you to take advantage of that if that's the case. And if not, there is absolutely no shame with being a frontline employee or whatever else in between. So anyways, leadership is important. It should be a position of humility. It should be a position of being humble. You should be supportive of everyone around you and driving their success, even to your own detriment, if that's what it takes. That's what being a leader is. And if you think that's how you're cut out, then go be a leader. But whatever you do, enjoy your life and have a really good life, and provide a really good life for the people around you that you love and the people that love you. So this is Dad. This is Dad Talks. Madison Mason, this is your dad, and I love you.